Thanks for coming out to lunch with us. This series was organized by the ESIP Education Committee and hosted by the Earth Science Information Partners, a national organization with over 120 members, collaborating to advance the use of earth science data across society. My name is Margaret Mooney, and I have the honor today to present Sarah McCrea from NASA Langley, and she's going to present on NASA Globe Observer. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for presenting.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I just want to make sure, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So once again, thank you all for having me and spending your lunch with me. Today we're going to go over Globe Observer, and what I've done is done screenshots. So it's a simulation of how you might walk through one observation with Globe Observer, and then we're going to end on some resources for you. And the cool part of what we did and added to the clouds protocol, which we'll touch on, is add NASA satellite matching and information. So I'm going to dive right in. I can also see the chat window, and I'll be checking it at the end, and this is being recorded. So if you have any questions, you can contact me after this program. So where do we come from? The GLOBE program is a program based out of education and science, where we walk participants through protocols or step-by-step procedures on how to observe the environment around you and report that data, creating a large database about the environment and our world around us. Extensions can be that scientists and students use that for research, virtual science fairs, collaborations across the world. And where do we come in as NASA Langley? Well, just over this past year, NASA worked with GLOBE to update their cloud protocol, and one of the biggest values is that we added satellite matching to that. So what we're going to review today is a new mobile app that is one of the tools to observe GLOBE clouds and contribute to the GLOBE Cloud protocol. Together, both programs have been operating and taking cloud observations for over 20 years. So what I recommend as we go through today is if you just want to sit back, relax, and look at the simulations, that's great. But I would say to get the best experience is to get hands-on, download the app for free from your Apple or Android stores, and just explore. So the Globe Observer app is a mobile app that allows you to make observations that complement NASA's satellite data and helps NASA scientists who are studying the Earth and our global environment. And specifically what the cloud app allows you to do, because you'll see over the next year we'll start to add more observation areas to the app. The cloud app allows you to take photographs of clouds, record your sky observations, and compare them with NASA satellite images right within the app. And like I mentioned earlier, it's just one tool to allow you to make globe cloud observations. So once again, when this is recorded, you can scan that QR code and you can download it right from there, or search Globe Observer within your Android and Apple stores. So how do you get the app once you've gone to those stores? So you'll download or upload the app, and it'll ask you for to create an account. Now, if you're already a GLOBE teacher, you'll have a GLOBE ID and a password. You'll know what I'm talking about. You can sign in right with that, or you can sign in just using the app. You enter your email address, and if you want to, a referral code, you can tie yourselves to us here at NASA Langley. You just enter NASA Langley there in bold and gray in the center of the screen. And what will happen is the Globe Observer team will email you back. We're just making sure you're a real person, and we'll email you a password and you log in, and then you're within the system and you won't have to do that again, just the first time. Once you get that email back and that login and password, you are ready to go. So we're going to look today about how you would make a cloud observation right within Globe Observer app. So the first thing it does is brings you to the cloud homepage. You can see there on the right of the screen, and you would click New Cloud Observations. And what the app does, like a lot of the apps you probably have on your phone, is use your phone's location, date, and time to mark your data stamp. That's a really important part of science, is making sure we know when and where you took that data. So the phone will populate it if you have your locations turned on, or you can manually enter that information. There's just a few screenshots there for example. Next, in how to make observations is the first question and the easiest step of your observation. There's different options. You either have no clouds in your sky, and the observation will bump you to some questions about your blue sky, or you have an obscuration, which means something is blocking 25% or more of your view of the sky. But today, for this quick example, we're going to actually walk through what it might look like if you observed clouds in your sky. So I have a big yellow box around clouds. So we're going to walk through a cloud observation. And the first thing you come to, the first question is, what percent of your whole sky is covered by clouds? Now, I'm going to pick one of the lower cloud cover categories just so I can show you what it's like to make sky conditions, or what we're talking about is the blue part of the sky observations. If you were to say your sky was overcast or full of clouds, it would bump you past the sky conditions, sky color, and sky visibility, because clouds would be blocking your view of those things. So say I enter, for example, isolated on the left there, 10 to 25% cloud cover. The app would then allow me to observe some things about the blue part of my sky. So we're not talking about the white part, we're talking about the blue part of the sky. Because just by looking at the blue of your sky or the visibility across a distance, which people feel comfortable observing, we can know a little bit more about the science behind our sky. And what I'm talking about is the amount or size of aerosols in our sky. So I have low cloud cover, I observe what color my sky is and what visibility I observe. And once I've observed those, I move into my different level of cloud observation. So we observe clouds on high, mid, and low levels. And on each level, it asks you type. You'll see there's the left shot of the phone, cover, and opacity on each level. So type, it'll walk you through 3 high cloud types. It also has contrails in high levels, because that's where planes are flying in that high level above 6,000 meters or 6 kilometers. It asks what percentage of your sky is covered by those high clouds. And then the last question we ask is the opacity, visual opacity of a cloud. And this is because we're really trying to tie it back to the Earth's energy budget. Different types of clouds let different amounts of energy in through sunlight, and different amounts of energy out through heat. So that question is really contributing to our science research in the Earth's energy budget. So let's say I just had high clouds today. I would select no mid clouds, no low clouds, but it would walk you through those same exact steps with those same guiding pictures. And once you're done with the levels, we ask about surface conditions, because satellites sometimes have a hard time telling between clouds and all the different surface conditions, especially snow, ice, and water. So we really want to give them a hand up on that. So you have to fill in, is there snow or ice, standing water, is your ground dry? If you are a GLOBE member, it can also ask you things like the temperature, relative humidity, and barometric pressure. These are things that you're already observing as a GLOBE member within the protocol. My favorite part of the app is that once you're done with that, it allows you to take pictures of your sky to tie them to your observation. So if you see there, the screenshot has a black circle. It has the defined cardinal directions as white circles, and your goal is to get that circle in the center of the black circle, and the phone will take a picture in that direction for you. It's so cool. So once you get all your information in, your pictures in, you are done. You have submitted your observation. If you're connected to internet, it'll send automatically to GLOBE and NASA databases. If you don't have internet, no worries. The app will store your information like the left picture there on your screen. And when you have an internet connection, you can go select your observations and then click the Send Observation to GLOBE button at the bottom. And when you have an internet connection, that information will come to us. So that's an example of walking you through a cloud observation. The really cool things are, or the next step once you've mastered making an observation, is we'd love for you to tie it to satellite overpass time, which means the time at which satellites observing clouds are overpassing your exact location. And you can figure that out right within the app. This is the new cool NASA value. If you're on the home page and you click check satellite flyovers, which is the orange button, third one down, or the small icon in the bottom right of the app that looks like a satellite. You'll be taken to the screen on the right, which walks you through the satellites that we match to your ground observations. One of the new features is you can set an alarm that will tell you or buzz or chirp when that satellite, 15 minutes before that satellite's passing over, so you know when to go out and observe. So how do we see that NASA data? You can click See My Data and you'll move to the second screen there. It's captured all the information you put in through the app. It's captured all your pictures. And then you can click that NASA Satellite View button at the bottom of each observation, and it'll pick up a MODIS footprint, which is a satellite image, centered directly on your location, which is really cool because you have your satellite image centered on your location with satellite perspective of clouds from the top, right next to your observation and pictures, which is clouds from the bottom. So that comparison is really cool. And beyond that, Globe Observer is supported by a website that shows that shows Globe Observer data from around the globe. And I'm showing some examples here. So if you go to the website, which is the page on the left, you'll see an Our Data icon. When you click it, you'll see the Globe Data Visualization Map, and you'll see all the different icons of all the information being sent in that day. You can change the date, find other days. But if you were to click an icon, you'll get a graph with some more information with all the data you entered, but you'll also have a link that says Open in a New Window. And what NASA has provided is a table with your data in the green table, ground data, next to satellite data there in the blue tables. In each satellite, if another one comes, you'll see another table next to yours and a third table next to yours. And this is where we provide satellite imagery, and you are actually within this table allowed to provide comments right back to NASA. So I just blew it up a little bit so it's easier to see, and you can see here that we have 2 satellite matches in the blue tables with thumbnail pictures of the satellite imagery in each. When you click them, it blows it up. It's just kind of showing how cool it is to have that imagery right next to one another. And where that really pays off, at least we found for our students, is that they can start to make that connection between, that graphic map that we have on the Globe pages or websites, and start to see where that ties to satellite imagery, learning how to interpret and understand satellite imagery. So just to wrap up here, if you are a Globe member or Globe teacher and you had signed in with your email, you will also get sent that match table in an email form. This is because if you sign in with your Globe ID as a registered teacher, we have access to your email. If you just operate through the app, you still get the match. You can go to the website, you can see it. We're just, due to privacy, not allowed to contact you through email because we don't have an opt-in option yet. So what supports the Globe Observer app? We have a whole website right there. We also have social media. We have Facebook and Twitter. You can search Globe Observer. I also have the Globe Observer homepage in the bottom left corner there. And if you have any questions, please contact us. My email's there. I'll put it in the chat. But that is my presentation. We're excited for you guys to have this app. It was just out. We're almost approaching a year in August. We'll be adding more parameters to it shortly, but we're excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sarah. That's great. So everybody's unmuted, so you can ask a question or in the chat box, but you might need to unmute yourself too. So this is Margaret. I have one question, and that was the part where you took a picture of the sky, and you said you take your mobile device and you point it up, and you just got to get your mobile device to be in that circle. Remember, in your example, it was a W, like west, I think.
Yep.
Why isn't it just straight up? Why
so
is
there
it
is
another
one.
direction?
So that's a great question. So we look in the different cardinal directions, and it also has straight up, and it also has straight down. So you can see change over time, and you can kind of see your total sky cloud cover. And especially you'll notice those directions we've centered above 45, or your camera is looking at 45 degrees or 14 degrees above the horizon, because we want to make sure that we're getting the sky and not things blocking it like trees and buildings and things like that. So we're trying to get a better picture of your whole observation environment.
Oh, so actually someone's going to submit like 5 pictures at that point, not just straight up.
In theory, you'll have 6 if
6.
if
Okay.
you submit all of them. So they're
Okay.
straight up, straight down, in the 4 cardinal directions.
Got you. Thank you. I get it now. Any other questions from anybody? Just speak up.
Thanks, Luann. Good to see you.
Reading the chat box.
Yes.
All right. I think it was just a super thorough, fabulous presentation, and I don't see any more questions. So thanks, Sarah. And thanks, everyone, for
Awesome.
tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks at the next Out to Lunch.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.